Hey guys, welcome back to AFL SuperCoach, here with my round 9 review. Scored the 2297 this past week, which was okay, all things considered. Could have been a lot worse. My rank didn't really move, sort of just stayed flat, which, again, isn't all that bad. Ideally want to move up, but it is what it is. I'll get into the team. All right. So, starting off with the defenders, Whitfield had that injury scare. Well, looked fine to me based on not only his performance but also scoring. So, grateful that he not only played but scored really well. Sinclair, a bit of a bounce back for him. Being pretty consistent all throughout the year. Jordan Clark, not good. I feel as though when Jordy Clark goes good and Houston go well, that usually dictates my week. So not so much for last week. Both those Jets having a down one is what it is. Hopefully get a bounce back from both those guys. Houston's been really good recently, so can't really complain with him. Lindsay, 81, for a rookie. Yeah, that's awesome. And also he's made so much cash, and he's break even now at 80. Could be one trade out for this week, TBC. Buslinger, obviously the back-to-back 90s in recent time. Last week was the 47. I wouldn't say I regret the trade. How much money did he make? He made 49K in a week in a time where finding cash is pretty hard, but still would be hoping for more, especially the elevated price, in more sort of 60, 70 range. But hopefully just a blip in the system and he'll be better for it. Marshall and Zizi didn't play. Heaney, I'm grateful that I kept Heaney through that injury in about a month ago that he had. Uber Primo without a shadow of a doubt. Butters was my captain on my VC loophole for this week, so 130 points was much appreciated. But Butters got tagged last week by Oshie Mullen, fought through it. Dacos did not fight through it. He's had a couple of down weeks and a 67 from one of your Uber Premium. He's now at 567, 173 break even. He's going to be probably around 500,000 for Nick Dacos. So as a non-owner, you'd be absolutely licking your lips. What's he owned by? 35% of times teams don't have him. Well, 35%, be looking good. LDU, standout performance against Sydney. He was on fire early. They did move the tag to him, but he fought his way through it reasonably well. But most of the damage was done from his end that first quarter. Walsh, subpar again, but I guess he's better than a rookie. If I can think about it. Glass half full. Callahan on debut, 100. He'll be better for it in the long run. I was hoping for more against Essendon, but we'll take 100. There's a lot worse performers than him. Sarong, bounce back. Sarong. I think it was like 5,000 coaches traded him out, which is fair enough. I've been on this merry-go-round with Sarong. And almost like you can see, last week it's just more or less like just try and upgrade around him rather than move off him, because this just happens all the time with primos. I wouldn't even call him a primo, just primos in general. If you're sidewaysing, there's always a risk that the next week they just bounce back and drop 100 on your head, and it's a waste of trade in the end. Cumming. Tossing up between Cumming versus Burton. Just go grab a quick drink. I was tossing up between Cumming versus Burton, with the Burton being 99k, Cumming was 170, I think 177, 176. I'm like, I could really use the additional 80k or so the following week, being this week. And I can't remember how many times I reversed it. It might have been say 5 or 6 times, nothing too dramatic, but 5 or 6 times, Cumming, Burton. Obviously, I stay with Cumming. And the reason why I went with Cumming is because I thought just the on-field scoring would just be far more superior. And I knew that I'd have to, thinking that I'd play a rookie for the next couple of weeks, and I'd much rather Cumming on field versus Burton. But yeah, on hindsight, Burton probably would have been better just purely for that saving of cash, and Cumming went up 37K. His break-even was already at 17. His role completely changed from last week. So yeah, let's see what the Tigers do this week. It's almost like, I'm not the coach, but not sure why Hopper's playing. Get him out. Taranto's obviously, one of their stars. Continue to play him. I think he's probably worth it just for some veteran leadership. But Hopper, is he in part of the next premiership? Probably not. But it is what it is. I'm not the coach. They don't have any sort of healthy bodies to play as well. So who am I to judge? But his role completely changed. Anderson, bit of a bounce back. He's going to have I think his break even is going to reset soon. His low score, where was it? His low score of 20 2 weeks ago. So not this week coming, but the week following, that'll drop out. So his break even should reset. Doesn't mean he's not potentially going to be traded, but I think for now I'll hold him. Sharp is an unfortunate one. I was regretting on that first quarter not fielding him. He ended up dislocating his shoulder, and that's been confirmed now. He's out for 5 to 6. He does not have a lot of money on his head for me to consider trading him out, but the fact he's not playing 5 or 6 weeks is sort of he's not really making money. Dead rook. Do I trade him? Maybe. That obviously recovery time frame can also come in, but a bit of a watch. I don't know if I'll move him this week or in future, but one I'm not really certain on, to be honest. But Watkins named in. Look, take it. What's his break even now? Break even at 10. I think he had a really poor couple of scores back to back. Yeah, the 7, the 17, 29. Jesus Christ. Once some of these lower scores drop out, he'll also be back to making cash if he keeps his spot. Watch this space on that. Would love for him to continue to play. Making cash is a little bit hard at the moment. Their rookies are drying up, as you guys would have probably worked that out yourselves. Cherry, 120 against Grundy. Take that. 134 for Gorn. Ruck sharing. Take that. So, really stoked with this ruck matchup. Ruck duo. Probably would prefer Luke Jackson, but that's a separate matter. Forward line, Sheasel. Fought hard from I think it was the first quarter tag. James Jordan tagged him. Fought through it. Petrarca, a bit of a down game. Would have expected more from him regarding that. Pickett was probably the most disappointing player, I think, on the week. Coming up against the West Coast. I was going to captain this guy. I'm very grateful I didn't. It was almost like he smacked Jake Waterman in the head, thought he was going to get suspended, then played really sheepishly throughout the rest of the game. Maybe a bit of PTSD from some of his previous suspensions, but shocking Cozzy, and a lot of coaches don't. I'd say a lot of coaches don't have him. A lot of coaches do, but I feel as though he's not too highly owned. Let's have a look. 42%. Well, he definitely is, but I do know a lot of people that don't have him as well. Maybe just personally. Flanders bounced back game 120. A lot of people traded him out. Not to say a lot, sorry. Some people did trade him out. That was a bad move in hindsight. Cook, wow. He could probably be F6 for a while. He's made 214K. Jeez, another drink. 214K on the year with a break even of 43. His last 3 to 4 rounds have been electric. 99, 72, 94, 88. What's his... It's like, I want to trade him so I can get an upgrade, but who am I upgrading him to? I even looked at him to say a Chad Warner, which is not that much more money. I think it's just about 80, 90K more to get to Warner. And they're basically scoring the same, give or take. At least in recent time. He probably won't keep this up, but who's to say he won't as well at the same time. Philippou, yeah, back to reality for him. He's probably one that can go. 56, who knows, like against Richmond, he should theoretically get a higher score than that, but you never know, Philippou. His time on ground and his role. Rechko, Rechko's been unreal. He's probably the rookie to field at the moment, especially in the mids, currently sitting in my flex at the moment. And Lodbar just with a 57, just slowly ticking along. So, what to do now? What do I think as it relates to round 9 ends, round 10 trades? I've looked at a couple of different things. I think, and this is with the knowledge or understanding that Marshall will play. I think Lindsay, whilst I would love to keep Lindsay, the cash on his head being 378 is just a little bit too juicy to not get rid of. So what I'm thinking is trading out Lindsay. I'll move Marshall onto my field. Let me just make this a little bit smaller. A little bit smaller again. So yeah, there we go. Got the filters going. Hope it's not too small on your guys' end. So what I'm thinking as a first move is Dirksen in, not because I think Dirksen's an absolute superstar. It's just the fact that the amount of cash that opens up for further moves, you guys can see it, 331,000. I could do pretty much anything with this cash. When I say anything, I'm being dramatic, but like most things open up quite greatly. Now, with the shit that's going on at Carlton, the coaching move, do they throw the Magus around? Does Dirks get a game? Maybe. I think he scored 5 goals in the VFL recently, which certainly won't hurt his prospects getting a game. And yeah, I think Harry Mackay will definitely need some help. But like, play the kids now. Like, the year is pretty much done, unless, I'm not sure what Carter are doing this year, to be honest. I don't even think they know what they're doing themselves. But so yeah, that's purely, I don't even know Dirks will play. He may play, he may not. It's literally just 99k rookie, bang, Marshall plays on field. Okay, cool. So I'm probably losing hours of points between Marshall and Lindsay, but we'll see. That's great. This is if Marshall actually gets named. I'd only do this. Now, what's next? I've got Anderson, Sharp, Watkins, Reedy, Philippou. Dobbs is not even playing my loop at the moment. So what I'm thinking here is I don't want to get rid of Cook. I think he's scoring probably on par, if not maybe say 5 points off, top 10 forward at the moment. And he's still got a little bit of money to make. Whilst Philippou has the Richmond matchup, I don't want to hold him any longer. Put it that way. I don't trust him. I don't trust his role. Now, the thing I haven't even touched on is about NAS. So NAS is out for 3 weeks. How does this impact the Saners? It probably helps Philippou get some mid-clock. And that's one of the things I thought I would do so much better this week because I don't have NAS. When I saw the news, I obviously felt bad for not only NAS, they killed her, those that had him, because I was very much going to trade NAS in at some point. Throughout the year, he's always one of those top targets, especially when it was his break-even was getting to that low point as well as his price. Yeah, I easily could have been in that same situation, but I thought a lot of players have NAS. I'm going to do really well in my rankings. Cumming, Pickett, Clark, they all saw to it that I didn't jump ranks at all. Anyway, beside the fact. So what I'm thinking is Philippou out. Now I'm going to put Watkins down. And then I'm thinking I could go Bont. And I probably should go Bont because he's been burning me every single week. And that would complete my midfield. But what I'm thinking about alternatively is if I go Hugh McCluggage, who's at a juicy price, $4.74. That now completes, quote unquote, completes. There's some bloody duds in my midfield. That's beside the fact that inconsistent players. I got no rookies in my midfield now, which is a good thing. So that's a massive win. Now, what have I got? I got Lombard. Do I really want to field Lombard or Watkins or Doveston? Doveston's not even getting a game. So I guess the question is, do I really want to field Lombard or Watkins? The answer to that is no. I do not want to field one of these guys. So what I'm thinking about doing from this point is going out Lombard, which leaves me with $419,000, which, for the 4 lines is a decent amount of money, but it's not going to get me one of the top, quote unquote, 6, 8, 10 forwards. So if I filter for players I can afford, and I filter by average, you got your Murphy Reeds, your Rochellis, Nick Watson, Fraser, these types. Now I'll tell you guys the 2 that I'm actually looking at bringing in, and I'm undecided. I'm leaning towards more one than another. So one of them is Sam Durham. So if I complete that trade, and I'll speak a little bit on Durham. So this is what the team looks like if I put Durham on field. Let's say put Cherry as captain. I think I'm going to put Cherry this week going up against McAndrew. TBC, but... So that looks... So in terms of upgrades left, what upgrades do I have left after making all these moves? Bustlinger needs to go. Marshall needs to go. That's 2. Midfield, arguably, outside of luxury trades, done. Ruck line, done. Forward line, I got Cook and Durham. Do they stay? Cook, most likely not. Durham, maybe. As that F6 spot. Rechko needs to... I'm saying he's got to go, but he'll need to be a better player than obviously just a rookie spot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 upgrades required over 18 trades. That's doable. Absolutely doable. Even if I use 3 trades for 5, I'm left with 3. I don't need that many trades. And it's obviously a couple of injuries in the bank as well. So that's what I'm looking at. And Durham, when you think about his averages over the last couple of years, so he averaged 90 last year. I think played every game. Yeah, he had a bit of a stint in the middle where he missed. Not sure. Probably a suspension or injury. Can't recall, to be honest. And the year prior to that, 89.5. Missed a couple of games as well. Jeez. Is that this year? That's weird. Anyway. Beside the fact, all I'm trying to point out as he's averaged basically 90 the last 2 years before this year. His role's been changed around. Brad Scott's moved around the magnets. He's currently playing in the inside mid role. And the last 2 weeks, when he has played the inside mid role, 102, 106. He started the year off at 488.9. So you're looking at some of the guys looking at in the top 6 to 8 forwards. That's sort of the price range they're looking at. So what you'd be banking on here, or what I'd be banking on here going Durham, is Durham's going to match it with the top, say, 10 forwards and be my F6. So I'm almost buying low on him to bounce back and match it with your Warners, your Boltons, your Zach Baileys, those type of guys, which maybe he can, maybe he can't. So I like that. And as Edison supporter, pulls on the heartstrings as well, because he's a beast for us. And when he's on, he's an absolute machine. Now, what else? You mentioned, Ray, that there's 2 people you're looking at. The other one was Buderick. So why Buderick? Aren't we done with Buderick? Not necessarily. So, what does Buderick do for me that maybe Durham doesn't? Or what does Buderick do, generally speaking? What is Buderick? He's a cheap forward. That's stating the obvious. But some of the things that he does for us, if we do trade him in, he gets a rookie off the field. Tick. He has a break even of 25, which means he's going up in price and not back the other way. Tick. He plays a halfback role. And if, I guess, Dale's scoring output is anything to go by, Marvel is good for halfbacks. No wind, marking, etc. Chippy in the back line, the doggies. Carlton, Melbourne, Collingwood, Marvel. Especially that Collingwood matchup's really juicy. He's just coming off 114, which is going to be in his system by way of price for the next 2 weeks. So we should see him theoretically go up. Now, am I getting Connor Buderick to be a cash cow? No. But can he score for me on field whilst keeping a rookie off my field and then going up in price? Yes. So there's a couple of pluses there. And the way I consider Buderick versus Durham, I consider him to be a quote-unquote potential keeper. Buderick, I don't consider him a keeper. But what I do consider him as, what's currently round 10, doggies have their bye round 16, I consider him a 6-week rental. Why is it a 6-week rental? He plays throughout the buys. So if I was to go 12, bang, he's playing 13, he's playing, etc. Saying the obvious here. He plays all the way up until round 16. He should be, if he keeps scoring, say 80s, let's say 80s, whatever he's averaging, 84, I would think that he'd get to, say, 400 and stay at 400. That'd be an easy up, down, bang, upgrade to whoever. Say that's throw out a couple of names, a Took Miller, a Rankin, Zach Bailey, whoever. Easy, done. What it also does for me with Marshall is it opens up this slot, this trading slot, or role position. It's probably more appropriate to say. Because if Marshall shits the bed this week, and I'm done with him, he's out traded, I'm sick of this roller coaster, that's fine. Buderick up to defense to fill a role. Marshall out for whoever as a pure upgrade. I could even get Durham if I wanted to, as an example, next week. And I keep Buderick, and he continues to play that role. And ultimately, what I probably would try and get him to do is eventually go to my flex. Can't put him in there at the moment, but I like the flexibility. That's the point I'm trying to make. So that's what I'm currently thinking. In terms of, that's for me and my team. In terms of what other people are doing, Marshall out, I would not be trading Marshall out. I think he's getting named. I think he's going to play. And he probably will make some cash if he does throw a couple of games together. So I think watch this space. I think Port have a couple of injuries to key stocks, both defense and forward. So I'd be holding Marshall. Reverse those trades, guys. Angus Anderson, I think this thing has got some money to make. In this current climate, I think you'd be going early, trading him out. Hold him. Nick Dacos, don't be stupid. Don't trade Nick. Hold him. If you trade him now, you've lost the money. And then when he's doing 120s, 130s, 140s, 150s consistently, when he's not getting tagged, you're going to regret it. Dyson Sharp, out 5 to 6. Fair enough. Cook, I can see the appeal because of the cash on his head, but it doesn't take much to get to him to a forward primo. But yeah, Dara Joyce is going to probably get dropped this week. So a watch on teams. Don't factor your trades plans on Dara Joyce if I was providing any advice. Liam Henry, I do like Liam Henry. I think he can make a fair bit of coin. I don't necessarily like the elevated price for a rookie, but I think like if Artie Jones is an example to look at, he's made a fair bit of coin since he came in for the doggies, and you probably put him in the same sort of ilk, probably even better than Artie Jones, but from a scoring perspective. He'll make some cash, not in my trade plans this week, and I don't think he will be, but I can see why you'd go there. Roberts, Jet, like Redmond didn't even impact him at all. He had one of his best games for the year. Yeah, if you got the cash for him, go for your life. And he's got a really, really, really good run coming in. Isaac Rankin, whilst he did have the massive score last week, he's going to be walking into a couple of tags and a round 12 buy. I'd say avoid, but I can understand the price point why he'd go there. Bont, is he getting arrested? Maybe, maybe not. He just defies all odds. I can understand why you're going him. I would love to get him in. He just disrupts. When I say disrupts, he interrupts this trade plan that I have regarding, Butterick or Durham and getting McGluggage and completing that midfield, getting rookies off the field. But you never know. I might end up lining up with Bont in my team by the end of the week. I don't think so, but there's every chance. And I can use 2 trades to get Bont rather than the 3 that I'm looking at the moment. It just means there's another rookie on the field, which I don't really like. I might leave it there. Thank you for watching. Catch you in the next one. And those that are NAS owners, I feel for you. This has been a really frustrating year to date. It's been one that I've dodged on this occasion. And yeah, I certainly feel for you guys. Do you hold? Do you trade? I think is a quick. If I was in your shoes, would I be trading? No. The reason why I say no is because what we've seen in the past or recent time is that, using like a Petrarca as an example, even Noah Anderson, clubs will say, "Oh, people are out for this long," and sometimes that does shorten that period. Sometimes, yes, maybe it's longer, but sometimes does shorten. So they've currently said 3 weeks. It may end up being 2. Who knows? We are about to approach in only how many more rounds? 2 more rounds. 2 more rounds, including this round coming up. We are going to be in bye rounds, which means best 18. You're protected. So let's say Naz's injury goes for 3, 4, 5 weeks. Hopefully not, but say it does. You're protected by best 18. So whilst, yes, you have 1 less primo, you probably will have rookies covering, mid-prices covering, what have you. He's got the round 13 bye, so he wouldn't have been playing anyway. So consider him 3 weeks, so 2 weeks off for injury, 1 week off for his bye. He's back in round 14 to help you through the rest of the buys. I would not be trading Naz because you're going to regret that in the end, I do think, because he's going to be starting to score again for those that held, and you'll be at the end of round 16, once your team comes out, you've got X amount of trades left, like, I want to get Naz back. Well, you had him in the first place, so you may as well just have hold. So Naz owners, hold. I feel your pain, but I recommend holding. It's your teams though. Do what you want. You can probably think of some fancy stuff to do with the cash that's on Naz's head. And good luck for navigating that. Good luck for this week, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.